Time for Media Watch with James Creedon. Welcome, James. You're looking at press coverage of the departure of Christiane Taubira from the government. She resigned, as we reported earlier, as Justice Minister.
That's right. A lot of coverage of that today across the world's press. Christiane Taubira stands down, an act of political resistance. That was the opinion coming from several of the German newspapers who were watching closely matters here. Not in my name. That was the editorial headline in Tageszeitung, for example. So, of course, this was about a difference of opinion over the new constitutional law, which would allow for the stripping of a nationality for people who are suspected of terror crimes. The left of the left, as they say here in France, or the far, well, I just suppose the old-fashioned left,
right,
are generally opposed to
and that
this law.
includes Taubira.
That includes Taubira. So I think it's pretty safe to say that that's why she went. I have left the government because of a major political disagreement. Now, others, many people, such as this French personality Guy Bedos, saying, really, this is the last brick in the wall of the left, basically, to fall. A lot of people feel that the Socialist Party is not really representing left-wing values much. It's certainly in terms of its economic policy, which is very much centre-right, you could even say, but now also in terms of the protection of freedoms and certain values of the Republic. I think there is a worry amongst voters of the Socialist Party that the party doesn't really represent them anymore in terms of government choices. So a lot of people sad to see Christiane Taubira go, who would share those values. And here you can see that in Le Parisien, they're summing it up by saying basically all of the left is paying unanimous homage or praise to Taubira. That differs somewhat from the political right, where she was very much a hated figure, in fact, seen as very lax on questions of justice and the management of prisons and such. And certainly the fact that she led the bid to introduce gay marriage in France made her also a sort of a punching bag, if you like, for traditionalists. So there you go, a lot of criticism for that. Jean-François Copé, the former leader of the political right,
I saw that tweet,
saying, the one time I actually didn't ask her to resign, and she does resign. Basically, he spent the last 3 years asking her to stand down, and this is a law, the constitutional reform, that the political right does support.
Mm-hmm. Now, she left her ministry today on a yellow bicycle.
That's right. A lot of people picking up on that, the symbol of it. And indeed, she was chased by a crew of journalists. We can be very badly behaved sometimes, Shona. Here they are on, I think, motorbikes pursuing her. But she didn't. She used to cycle a bike before becoming a minister. I think she had difficulty keeping that particular habit of.
Well, it's a super healthy thing to do.
Super healthy, but right? I guess for
You're
security.
sitting in a chair all day.
Definitely, and I think she's happy now to be back on her bike. But I think it was a bit of a security nightmare for her bodyguards for a while. So there you go. A lot of people sharing as well online her tweets over the last number of years. She was known for her sharp tongue and her sort of poetic tweets, a digital poetess, they're calling her here. And also she was a very, very good public speaker, and her speeches, notably after the voting in of the gay marriage law, they are being shared online today as well, because she speaks without notes in a very impressive and a lot of rhetorical flourishes.
What about her successor? A lot of people are worried that he won't be as much of a leftist as she is.
That's right. This is one of the concerns. But he was actually one of the architects of the surveillance law that was brought in after the Charlie Hebdo attacks. Some people see him as not being someone who will defend liberties and freedoms in the same way. Jean-Luc Mélenchon of the far left saying, as Justice Minister, this is making me shudder, because he once proposed merging the Interior and Justice Ministries, which in fact should traditionally counterbalance each other. Mm-hmm. And, well, this is the way things are going right now. The far left and the far right agreeing on the fact, on many issues, and this one, well, not on many issues, but on certain issues, and this one in particular, the appointment of Mr. Urvoas as her successor.
Thank you so much, James Creedon, there with the latest there on the Media Watch. Thank you as well, Marcus, for that business bulletin. We'll be back in just a few minutes. Stay with us on France 24.